Good morning and welcome to Black Man Spy, U.S.-Iran Warcast Day. Let me check my notes. 27. We are going on month, the first month of this war, which was supposed to be like a 4 to 6 week war. Based on the things that we're seeing thus far, it's going to go a lot longer than that. Uh, so first, let me say good morning to my co-host, starting with Jacob Kaarsbo, former Danish intelligence officer, Middle East expert, Wajeeh the gay lion, who is a Saudi Arabian geopolitical expert. I don't ever want to add the I word behind you because there are people out there that take that shit crazy. And he's coming, and as you can see, Wajeeh got a freshie. You got a nice freshie haircut there. I'm gonna go out and get a haircut now too, because my hair looks better like military short than it does with this haphazard grow pattern here. All right. So good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
It's good to be
Well,
here.
good afternoon if you're in Denmark, right? Wolf. Crazy day we have. I'm gonna let people spool up. We have about 600 now. Just FYI, a little admin. Please, all of you who are logged in thus far, press that little hearts button. It turns out it works. If you press that 10 or 20 times while you're sitting there listening to us, great. That tells the algorithm that this broadcast, this podcast, this live stream is very popular, and it moves it up the rankings. And I think right now, this live stream is at 14th for all of their podcasts. And that's like with Dan Rather and people we shouldn't even be near. It's a jump from 59th to 14th. And that's because we are giving people information that they need. And I'm afraid to say you all do need this information because it is spread out over 24 hours. There's too much crazy bullshit going on for you to consume your life trying to read it and comprehend it. And we're going to do that for you. We collect this information. I got up at 1 a.m. this morning. I don't know why. I couldn't sleep. Got up at 1 a.m. Stayed up till 3 a.m, saw the madness that was coming out of Donald Trump's text messages, went back to sleep because I couldn't take it, then got up again and fed the dogs, and here I are. So that being said, if you also are new and you haven't subscribed to Wajeeh or Jacob, please just touch that rondelle up top, the Black Man Spy rondelle. Up will pop the subscription. If you are watching this from YouTube because it's been pre-recorded, please just go to YouTube and subscribe to Black Man Spy Podcast because cost you nothing. We don't charge you anything. You will get a 24-hour update. A lot of people are doing their war updates, but I've noticed a lot of those people have zero experience in this region. My experience comes from 40 years working and living in the Middle East, sometimes as a Muslim, sometimes as a combatant. And I actually fought over 10-year period, fought or monitored the every war in the Gulf. I fought off of all the islands we're going to talk about today. I fought the Iranians. I fought the Iraqis. So I've been on both sides of this equation, and a lot of time off the Iranian islands down there, steaming circles and chasing small boats. We'll talk about that later. So that being said, good morning. Look, we're already up to about 1,000 people. And I want those of you who are watching on YouTube, yes, please subscribe, but also make comments in the comments. I actually do go into the YouTube comments and I do answer questions. And that's in YouTube, it's it's a completely different algorithm. And if you are on YouTube, come to malcolmnance.substack.com and jacobcarsbo.substack.com and wajeehlion.substack.com and follow us. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on Black Man Spy because the algorithm changes at 100,000. And the funny thing is, I'm getting more paid subscribers than free subscribers. Okay, I'll roll with that. Someone's got to feed the dogs here, right? So, but thank you for becoming paid subscribers. Paid subscribers are allowed to ask questions and make comments. And we're going to have a special one tomorrow because, as you know, tomorrow evening, Eastern Time, the 5-day deadline runs out, which just happens to be the Islamic Sabbath, right? Islamic Holy Day. And that means that if fuckery is going to abound, it will happen right after sunset in Iran's time. We have a tendency in the United States to attack between midnight and 4 a.m. And if we're going to be doing these crazy operations, we're the kind of lazy ass people, the United States military, who will think that you can attack on a holy day and get away with it, or the day after, Saturday morning, because no one's at work. Yes, well, in Islam, they have this philosophy of al-jund fil rabat, right? The soldier on guard post duty. A rabat is the frontier of the defense of Islam, and it can be anywhere. It could be your living room, right, Wajeeh?
Yes. Al-Murabitun, which is people who are on the action, people who are on the mission. Meaning it doesn't matter who you are, whether once you are assigned that mission by your faith, by your faith leader, that mission is based on everyone that is following that faith, no matter where they are. That's why it becomes very, very, very dangerous globally, not just in Iran, not just in the United States. The whole network of sleeping cells that been sleeping everywhere like cancer all of a sudden becomes awake. And that's when the Western nightmare really happens. It hasn't happened yet. But once those rebut, like that's a very dangerous territory right there.
Yep. Ana Murabatun. Kuntu Murabatun. I was a Murabatun. Ana Murabatun did the Jahiliyyah. Al-Jahiliyyah min Trump.
Against
Right?
against
I am a guard post against ignorance, is what I said. Trump's ignorance. So, okay, that being said, now that we've had our Arabic lesson of the morning, let's go over
to our mug segment. You'll notice that this is a Chinese-made CIA mug. It says, I'm an analyst, and then the person has a problem spelling analyst. So in the end, the guy gives up and says spy.
I have a t-shirt that says that.
Someone sent me a US Embassy in Riyadh mug, so I'm just waiting for that to get paraded in here.
I have so many crazy mugs. Somebody yesterday asked me to show my office. I'm not going to show everything on my office, but on my mantle, I have a boatload of crazy mugs. This is a CIA mug filled with Turkish pipes that people gave me. This is my pride of honor. This is my Russian army mug that we took when we took a Spetsnaz headquarters in Kharkiv in Ukraine. And it was full. There was a box on the floor. Everybody's looking for like ammunition. And it was full of Russian army mugs. I have 3 of these. I should sell them on YouTube. And then my spy museum mugs. I have a massive mug collection. Someday I will do this show from the man skiff. I don't have a man cave. I have a man skiff. And it is an actual room that was built into the house. It is rated as a secret level skiff because I was offered a job and I needed a place to bring material. And that's my I love me room. Okay. I've got reams of stuff. The funny thing is, I have so much stuff from these operations, the ones that people say I never did, that, like I'm going to tell you guys something because I was going.
Oh, oh, oh.
What's going on, Malcolm?
No, don't do this again.
Don't.
No.
It's all that skiff toss. He's been spending too much on his skiff, and then he can't get a proper internet connection, apparently.
Of the place. So I took the Quran remnant and I took Quran remnant to a museum.
Malcolm, we were giving you shit because you have invested too much in your skiff, and then you don't have a proper internet connection.
Wait, you're not giving me shit because of what?
Because your internet connection is weak. So it's because you spent too much on your skiff.
I'm going to change out of this.
Oh my God.
That'll clear it up. Did that clear it up?
Yeah. We can hear you. No worries.
Okay. Can you see me?
No. We can't see you.
What you could do is click on and off the camera. Click on the camera off and on again and try that.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Is it
back?
See
now.
Yeah. Okay. Am I talking? Sure.
Let's go, guys.
As I was saying, all right, let's move on to this morning's activities. You know, the museum tour, I will do that. The house museum tour, I will do as a paid subscriber special because I got crazy shit in this house. And so do you, Jacob, I'm certain. Okay, day 27. Day 27, the casualty list has not changed extensively. We are still now lacking casualty list coming out of Iran. They've stopped it. We estimate that it's 1,600 now. The United States still 14 with 232 wounded. Israel is up to 18. There were significant activities. There were spectacular penetrations in Israel yesterday. We're going to talk about, and they have not got a casualty count. As you know, yesterday it went up 1 when a person was killed. Gulf states casualty count went up by 2 people today. 2 people were killed in Abu Dhabi from a ballistic missile attack. And, well, I'm just trying to get it. There it is. It was last at 22. Now it's gone up to 24 killed in ballistic missile attacks in the United Arab Emirates and other places. Iraq was up to, what did you say, 87? We haven't seen any more casualties.
So 90, something like that, 90. And there are no updates from Lebanon. It looks to me like the ground operations are starting in earnest. There's been talk about Lebanese or Hezbollah strikes on Israeli tanks. And allegedly, there's been an Israeli soldier killed in these fights already, but that hasn't been confirmed. So let's just see.
All right, we will see. Okay, this morning, significant activities. There were a boatload of significant activities, most of them diplomatic and political. I'm going to save them for last because, the crazy is out there, guys. I mean, the funny thing is, we said this very early on into the war, that this was not a military operation. This is an economic war, full stop, that's going on. Everything Iran does is economic. Everything America does is mental illness based on their belief that Trump knows what he's doing. And he went way over the top today. So if you haven't heard some of the craziness coming out of the White House, go get another cup of coffee. Be prepared. By the way, my coffee cup today is an Illy double espresso cup, and I will be imbibing of it greatly. Okay, today, the Washington Post, the New York Times, I believe, let me get that right now, get the bookmark, reported that a plan for a final blow to destroy Iran and end this war was submitted by the Pentagon, allegedly. And now when I hear Pentagon, I hear Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller. because there's no way a military person had any decision making with regards to this. It's just crazy now.
I think it came out of Axios first.
Axios, you're right. That's why I was.
Yeah, Axios. And they've got these dubious sources, but it sounds crazy, but it's people from within that system that leak it, and it's not.
These Axios is getting a lot of stuff, which means that they are literally talking to the people in the White House, and the White House leaks to them deliberately. And this is why, when I did my assessment of this, that it quite possibly could be strategic deception, using the news media to deceive everybody and the enemy about what their objectives are. Let's take a look at this chart. For
The
those of you,
final blow.
the final blow is supposed to come. What sources familiar with internal discussions describe 4 major final blow operations Trump could choose from. 1, invading or blockading Kaarsbo Islands, Iran's main oil export hub. Number 2, invading Larak, an island that helps Iran solidify its control over the Strait of Hormuz. The strategic outpost hosts Iranian bunkers. And when they see bunkers, I think they're missing it. It's not military bunkers. There's no real military bunkers on Larak. It's oil bunkers.
It's all bunkers.
It's oil transshipment point, like 90% oil. It's tiny, Larak Island. We're going to go over it. Attack craft that can blow up cargo ships. Are you sure you're talking about Larak? I think somebody has deceived them. They're talking about Kishem Island. Next, seizing the strategic island of Abu Musa and the 2 smaller islands, which lie near western entrance of the strait and are controlled by Iran, but also claimed by the UAE. I remember that there was a lot of consternation about the IRGC on Abu Musa Island when I moved to Abu Dhabi. And I thought it had just been taken. It turns out Greater Tomb, Lesser Tomb, and Abu Musa Island were seized by the Shah of Iran in 1971. It just got inherited by the Islamic Republic. The Shah, America's dog, right, in this game, took those islands from the UAE back when, let me tell you something. I went to the UAE in the mid-'80s, and Abu Dhabi was so sleepy. The palace that is now a museum was the actual palace. It's a mud-ass fort. And then there was one hotel there, right, which now is, I think it's turned into the Hojos, the Howard Johnson. And no one wanted to go to Abu Dhabi. There were no bars in Abu Dhabi. You had to go to Dubai to go to the famous Pancho Villa's bar, which was like the sailor's bar up in Dubai. Everyone hated Abu Dhabi in the 80s. Imagine it in the 70s. It must have been like 2 guys and a camel. I mean, it was just, and then of course they found really big oil and they became the strategic powerhouse. And the last option was blocking or seizing ships that are exporting Iranian oil on the eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz. Can I point out to you the phrase, the eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz? Malcolm, let's go to the map. This is insane. This is insane. This is insane.
It's not exactly a final blow, is it?
No. Jacob, point out on your map. Your map is bigger.
Yeah.
Show us the eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz. That's commonly known as the Indian Ocean. So why would you be you know what they're talking about? Seizing ships that have already loaded on oil from Kaarsbo Island and blockading India, China, Pakistan. What would that do? The only ship that you're going to seize empty ships that are going in there? That's the lazy man's idea right there. Because that does nothing. But this is very Trump. Because after Venezuela, he talked that bullshit about he seized the ship and sold the oil, right? What would this do? I don't understand that. And okay, let's be honest, y'all. Full disclosure, not full disclosure. Real talk, fam. Real talk. Why do you need 1,000 special operations soldiers, and what could eventually spool up to 3,000 paratroopers and 2,500? When that second group gets there, there will be 5,000 Marines, and out of that, 1,000 of them will be shooters. Explain this to me. We're talking 4,000, 5,000 shooters. Why? If you're just going to blockade ships and seize the oil, why?
Why?
So let's go over it. Why are they leaking this story to Axios? And this is why my assessment was this is probably strategic misdirection. This is literally being said, look down here, right? Card and Larak Island. I've sailed off Larak Island. I could spit across Larak Island. That I'm going to show you on Google Earth. It ain't big. So, what do you guys think?
But yeah, it also says people need to know that underneath this text with these points of the options for the final blow, it also says
is that a final blow?
It's not a final blow. It's insane. But the next thing is underneath it says there are also plans to deal with the nuclear, the highly enriched uranium, and make some sort of raid there. And which is
I got
in parenthesis.
Bitch, you better be bringing backhoes and bulldozers. Better be bringing what I can almost see this plan right now. What we'll do is we'll send the Rangers out in 50 miles, right? And we've identified a Tractor Supply and in a Home Depot, and we're gonna take all the rental backhoes, right? And we're gonna get the Rangers to go out there with combat engineers we're gonna bring with us, and they're gonna drive all the backhoes over, and we're gonna dig for a month. Right? To get at the uranium nuclear material. And I could almost hear the discussion with Mujtaba al-Khamenei and his staff. He'll go, did we leave anything in there? And they'll be like, no. And he'll go, listen. Nobody attack them. Nobody attack them. Just leave them. Just leave them there. Right? Just leave them there. Every couple of days, I want you to bombard them with 50 or 100 rockets. But otherwise, I don't want anybody risking their lives. Right? What do they say? What does Napoleon say? Never stop your enemy when he's making a mistake. Right?
When
my question is didn't the U.S. just give permission to Iran to sell oil just a couple days ago? Not a couple weeks, just a couple days ago.
Yeah, but
so now,
but not. They didn't give them permission to bury nuclear material, though. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Esfahan nuclear storage. You guys talk amongst yourselves. This is really crazy talk. Is it further?
Are we all going to talk?
Meanwhile, Trump is coming up with all these claims about negotiations, and now the Iranians are not being serious, and he will obliterate them even more than they are already obliterated. It's nuts, and they think all these deadlines and threats and stuff does anything. It does. It just makes their own problems even greater. It's dumbass.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Go ahead, Wajeeh.
Iran literally said, "What negotiations?" Like they literally said, "What are you talking about? There is no real we have received your messages. We keep receiving your letters. We receive your flowers, but I haven't responded."
Your flowers.
And we're saying thank you to the Pakistani foreign minister for conveying it.
Thanks.
Thanks. Oh dear.
Oh, Iran just dropped like another drone that like we haven't seen before. Hadid 110. Like we have like till this conflict, which is the upgrade on the Shaheed, where it has a jet engine.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's very nice. But you know what? I'm looking up here. I suspect right now that they are going to go to the Natanz military facility, Natanz weapons
Could
facility.
be.
This is the one that was built into the mountain, right? That they dropped the bombs through, 6 bombs through the same holes and supposedly collapsed it. And that's where the centrifuges were and things like that. If you collapsed it and they destroyed it, it is destroyed. Now you want to bring 1,000 men there, and it's also sort of remote, right? Isfahan and places like that are near, big ass cities.
Yeah.
Natanz is a complex in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to show you that right now. Here we are. That red dot is the Natanz nuclear facility. This is in Ahmadabad province, which is near nothing. It's in the mountains, y'all.
We can't
Really
see
in the
anything,
mountains. So this
honestly.
is Iran. Oh, I'm showing you first the big picture. And then I'm going to show you the distance from our nearest base in Kuwait here to that spot. And so here's Ali Selam Air Base. I know here I'm putting out a black line. If you can see that, okay, Isfahan from our nearest base is showing up at 554 kilometers, 250 miles. There ain't no helicopters flying that, right? The other one is out here about 850 kilometers. Okay, so that's Isfahan. Now up here is near Iran, near Qum is Fardu. That's 600 kilometers. That's 300 miles, 350 miles, or almost 500 miles, which tells you what? There ain't a helicopter in the world that's flying up there. So
No.
now I'm going to show you, we're going to go back to Natanz, and I'm going to show you the actual facility. Don't get dizzy. This is the Natanz facility that was built into the mountain, where that red dot is. Right about where I'm running my cursor back and forth is where we dropped the bombs that entered the complex, right? Can I point out to you the whole freaking area is a mountain, right? Which means there's stuff in there. Now, we destroyed all the outbuildings, we destroyed the cafeteria, and destroyed the house of the gate guard. But the only thing that I can say is that that article is a case of strategic misdirection. It's got to be. Because why do we have what could be 500 Rangers, right? A 1,000 going up to 3,000 parachutists. Okay, Karg Island, you could take with 50 guys, 100 guys. If you just bomb the shit out of the IRGC, only a third of that island is where you can maneuver and go around and shoot people anyway. Get fucking Delta Force to do that shit. But why are we talking 3,000 to 4,000 people? I think we are going to go own this place. Right? And here's another interesting fact. These roads here are very wide. Somewhere out here, there's an airport. All right. But you can see this whole place is dead center in a mountain. It requires a lot of defensive forces. The only thing we could be doing is we have great suspicion that all the nuclear material is in there. But what are you going to go? You're going to go to freaking Home Depot in the nearest major city, which is Tehran, up here, and borrow tractors and bulldozers and fucking backhoes? You think we're going to bring gold down there and say, hey, we want to borrow your dump trucks? Somebody explain
They
that
might need
to
the Israeli bulldozers to go there.
bring it on. Now, The reason I'm getting so worked up about it, all the talk is down here. But you don't need 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 fucking combat troops to take any of this, even all the islands. Couple of thousand tops. But parachutists, you can't walk up here to Natanz. You cannot go by helicopter because helicopters are very slow. And these guys happen to have not one, but 2 parachutes on them when they land, right? Primary and reserve. So I think they are bullshitting us. And Trump would have to come up with an actual final blow, right? He said he started this for nuclear material. I think going into Natanz, and maybe they think that the Israelis already rented the backhoes and excavators that they're going to need for this. And for those of you who don't have a house, like I do, right? I am going to show you what what they need there, right? Midnight Hammer, man, that is the gayest thing. This is what you would do.
That's spectacular.
Midnight Hammer had spectacular penetration.
It did, certainly.
Okay, these, some people call backhoes. I'm going to show you right now. What? $2,000 a day? That's usury. Hold on, I'm going to show you here what they must have there, right? Because apparently this mountain that collapsed on itself requires us to go in and literally dig it out. And here's the types of excavators. You need a crawler excavator, right? We all know these things. Bob the Builder has one. To dig out a mountain
target.
to dig out a mountain that you collapsed up to 500 meters of debris to get into the concrete chambers down there. If Iran hasn't done it, what makes you think a fucking 2,000 Rangers could do it or airborne could do it? It would take weeks of operating 24 hours to dig out this thing. Okay? And I got some question. Where's the diesel for that coming from? Are you going to invade central Iran and get all these equipment? You're not flying this shit in because, one, you don't have an airport. That large highway to the right, which is clear, could be used for C-130s, but it can't move this. All right, we're in fantasy baseball time here, and I think we should not indulge their craziness. So here's my response to the final blow discussion. I said, this is an insane level of strategic incoherence here. I've sailed off all of these islands in war, and it doesn't make sense. Note, it could be strategic misdirection. Karg Island and its gas oil platforms can be taken with 100 men, or just disable it with a drone and put no men there. Why are there thousands of airborne and soft on moving to secret bases in Israel and Jordan? Right?
Yep.
There's a bigger target hinted here, and it's inside the Iran mainland. Jacob, what do you think about that? If the Americans came to you and said, we want Danish assistance in this, what would you say?
We would say, sorry. Then you should stop threatening Greenland. That's probably what we would say. But anyway, no, this seems like a fantasy plan. We have to see what they end up doing. I mean, it's all over the place, and it's hard to see that they can do anything meaningful, with regard to the regime, with regard to actually achieving something. All these things will only happen the Iranian regime and their resolve, unfortunately. So I can't see that any of these ambitions are matched with the assets that are in place.
Yep. Wajeeh?
So In my own opinion, I'm gonna go back to the crazy strategy of the nuclear facility, or the facility in the mountain they want to go to. Typically, any facility like that, if it's just a structural damage, a really basic structural damage, you need 3 to 6 weeks to clear it out. Nevertheless, if it's a tactical sabotage, you need months, which is what we have done. We have sent some of the strongest bombs we have, 30 or 80 of them, down these mountains to make sure not only we destroy the structure, but we destroy whatever else is in there.
Right.
Now we're gonna go clear it out, not knowing if we have any hazardous material from these chemicals, from these weapons, from these infrastructures, and we don't have. I don't know if we have the hazmat suit. Are we gonna send soldiers in hazmat suits?
Well, yeah, they actually train for that, and there are nuclear material support teams. I worked with an EOD group in San Diego that was designed to take, seize, handle nuclear weapons, right? Bad guys, good guys. Here's one of my concerns. Maybe it's not this. Maybe it's the Yazid ballistic missile city, the one that is still bombarding Israel. This place is way in the West. I mean,
Yeah.
it should have been wiped out. The Israelis hit it every day, and it's supposed to be like really amazing. What AZ did. I'll show you a picture of this. It has underground trains in it that the Yazid Mountain complex. It has underground train lines in it and may have as many as 5,000 missiles in there. You know, somebody calls it Yazid Missile City. And it's in these mountains outside, of the city. And, this is one thing I think people cannot appreciate. People, please study geography and topography when you want to go into a war. Okay, everywhere I'm pointing to, that red dot is Yazid. Everything around it for like 500 kilometers is mountain. Mountains. Somebody said Afghanistan's mountains or Iran's mountains make Afghanistan look like a Sunday picnic. This is the deep in the heart of the Firdows Mountain. It's possible to do something sexy. We're going to fly there to the Yazid Mountain Ballistic Missile Complex. I don't know if you guys have seen photographs of it. The Iranians have actually done videos of this. Of that complex of them with hundreds of missiles, missile base, right?
Yeah.
Showing the trains and all this stuff. But this is Israeli news. But somebody said they built this under 500 meters of mountain. 500 meters. Okay, that's 1,500 feet of the mountain on top of you. Here's a picture. Allegedly of the Yazid Mountain complex. And apparently we can't penetrate it. So the crazy thing that I can hear fucking G.I. Joe Pete Hegseth advocating for is the United States to go in there physically and dig it out. This complex is still launching ballistic missiles. It says it has some crazy number of entrances and exits, like 24. And every time the United States blasts one of these exits, there are actually 3 sets of blast doors between the outside and the inside. So what they do is they just close the 3 blast doors. The Americans topple part of the mountain on it. Then they open it up and they have engineers and excavators inside that clear the opening again, right? And then they let the Americans bomb that opening again while the other things are bopping missiles off into space. Now, this is a target for 3,000, 5,000 guys where you own that place for a week. And you go in and you do the guns of Navarone and you put bombs on all the missiles and you blow up the ballistic missile city. Even worse, I'm afraid to say that this has actually come into my vocabulary, but it's quite possible, and this would be a Pete Hegseth thing. They go in there and they put a 5-kiloton tactical nuke in there at its lowest point, and everybody evacuates, and they blow the site with a tactical nuclear weapon. It'll be contained within the mountain.
Yeah.
Because a kiloton, 5 kilotons, very small. You will collapse that mountain from inside, yikes. So you all, if you have ideas, come in the comments and tell us what you think this is going to do. We are going to have a special about this tomorrow. Wajeeh.
You know the same 500 meters that Khamenei was in? It took him 5 minutes in an elevator to go these 500 meters down. Are we gonna how many 5 minutes are we gonna send 5,000, 3,000 soldiers?
I have one question about this. When they're in those service elevators, do they play Girl from Ipanema on the music? Or what song do you think is playing in the music? Or is it like nasheeds? Right?
It's nasheeds.
Nasheeds. Okay.
It got so many nasheed memorized off of the back of my head like it's nothing.
Okay. We're having too much fun. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, for the 1,700 of you who are here, this discussion is free-flowing and humorous, principally because you are literally looking into how an intelligence watch brief would happen. We have a grand old time during these briefs, but when we have these briefings, the free-flowing discussions, the comedy, the jokes, the dark humor actually excite your thought processes. And someone may say something like, "Do you think they're bringing a 1-kiloton nuke?" And everybody goes, "No, wait, wait, give me that again and fill that out." I mean,
exactly.
DEI, diversity of thought, equality of opinion, and inclusion of all ideas. That is what an intelligence watch brief is. This is how they're run. And then we do this. Okay, let's go on to the next subject. The final blow. We're going to give that some thought. Next, the Israelis assassinated. Now, I find this fascinating. You guys are going to have to fill this out. The Israelis assassinated the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps in Bandar Abbas.
Yeah.
Was the U.S. Navy strike aircraft on break, or were they having lunch? Wouldn't this have been a U.S. Navy good? Or it appears to me, individual assassinations are being handled by the Israelis.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legitimate military target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what we've seen the Israelis do and do really, really well. I mean, if you took the 2024 campaign against the IRGC in Lebanon and Syria, it was stellar. You have to say. So that could be that's simply the Israeli job. Also, I suspect really that their penetration of of the top Iranian leadership is perhaps better than the American.
Yeah. I mean, good penetration. Also, they could have used their intelligence is very good because it comes from locals.
Exactly.
And as you know, we don't speak fucking Farsi for shit. We have 1 million Americans who speak Farsi, but I am dead certain they are not in the CIA. Right?
No.
I'm going to tell you a fact about the U.S. intelligence community. We have a deep mistrust of people who are from their home nations or where their parents were born. I don't know why we do that. When I was in the military in the 1980s and they were doing Iran-Contra, right, working with the Nicaraguans, all of the Spanish linguists were forced to take Korean. They wanted nobody who was actually from there in case you would betray the mission. And I thought, there have been Spaniards in America since Columbus, you know, 14 freaking 92. What makes you think that these Native Americans who are native Spanish speakers, like Puerto Rican and everything, would betray us to the point where you were like, put them in another language, right? It was crazy. And then Nicaragua really kicked off, and suddenly they were all sent to Puerto Rico, right? We're dumb. There's a great scene in the movie Joe Wilson's War about the one of the CIA, the lead CIA operations officers, was Greek, and he complains about how they fired everyone who came from the same culture, and he'd lost like 200 or 300 officers, and he goes, "I'm fucking Greek. We're having a crisis there, and you sent me to learn Finnish for 6 months." It's just insane. But that being said, we killed him in Bandar Abbas. I'm going to give you guys the location here. Bandar Abbas is the city which dominates the Strait of Hormuz. It is a big city. It's got 500,000 people in it. So when you hear people make suggestions like, I think we're going to land in Bandar Abbas. Really? Why don't you just fly to Tehran, get your ass kicked proper? I mean, when you land in someone's town, those soldiers, they get offended. But by the way, here is the other island they were talking, the main island that they were putting in the second proposal today, was this island, Larak Island, which is the morsel, the fish or whatever you want to call it, that the shark is going to attack. This is the big shark-looking island there is Kishem Island. That has 30 major villages, 54 villages in Kurias, small villages, hamlets, and has a big IRGC presence there. We've been bombarding them. And why would we land at Larak, which, as you know, is where the toll booth for the multipass is? Multipass.
For especially if you call it the final blow.
Yeah. What are you taking the toll booth?
For the final blow.
It's an ecological preserve, and it's an oil transshipment point. So I don't understand the logic of that. You take that so you can be bombarded from Hormuz Island, from Kishem Island, from Bandar Abbas. Let's go east. All over here, where's that town? Not Zayrat. Over here, there are IRGC mini bases all over here. What the ever-living F? Do you just want the toll booth? Just rent it from them. So I don't understand that. Because as I've explained to you before, if you're going to take these islands, you got to take them all. Hormuz, Larak, all of Kishem Islands. You could use 1,000 airborne there. This little one is called Hengam Island. If you land there, they can shoot at you with spitballs. They can use BB guns. And then taking Greater and Lesser Tomb and Abu Musa. Let me use my pointer. Some people are saying they can't see. Greater and Lesser Tomb over here.
Move it down. Turn a little bit, yes.
Oh, here.
The camera should turn a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
Perfect. There you go.
Taking these islands, you're just doing that to give it to the UAE. Because right now, this island can bombard you. Farour Island has a giant IRGC base can bombard you. Siri Island can be controlled and cut you off. And you go, well, we'll control the Western Strait of Hormuz. Bitch, you got to get to it from here. You got to get through here. And then get there. Everyone can shoot at you in every direction. Voila, yeah.
Yeah.
Have we mentioned Iran yesterday just threatened if anything happened from the United States extra, they're gonna take the other side.
Does this sound familiar? Has anyone in this briefing in the last 25 days heard a guy named Malcolm Nance talk about how in 1987 they were going to land and destroy every fucking oil field on the Western Persian Gulf? And they had the men to do it. They were in the boats and they were standing off in their go-plats to do it. Don't think that they can't bring that war by manpower. I said this to Mario Nofo the other day. I'm going to show you on the map. The easiest place to invade is Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates. And you can go there. From here, you can go to any of these islands in those little high-speed boats. Remember those high-speed boats? They were here off of Kuzmar. This is the Musandam Peninsula of Oman. You can just follow the boat. If you follow the coast, radar can't see you. And you can end up down here, right, in Ras Al Khaimah, which is the first of the biggest emirates up there. One, you can go to the mall. Two, you get on that freaking highway out of Ras Al Khaimah, and it is nonstop straight line of you shooting up cops with goddamn commandos going all the way straight down to Sharjah. You could seize Ras Al Khaimah airport and blow it the fuck up just for fun. You can continue down, and the next place is Sharjah, and you're technically in Dubai. You could do that with 100 men. You would wreak mayhem on that country. They would start shooting themselves because they wouldn't know who was there. What if you bought 200 or 300? You could make it to the Burj Khalifa and set it on fire because you wouldn't know who the guys who were gunning and running are. And they would take your cars, your police cars, everything. Yikes.
Could you please show the viewers Bab al Mandab? Because they literally just threatened that yesterday. And what's very crazy about Bab al Mandab, that if they close Bab al Mandab and they have Al Houthis just waiting for that order, you have the Suez Canal by Egypt, that where the rest of the other world economy that doesn't necessarily have to do with oil, that flows with the rest of the orders, all go by Bab al Mandab. And if they
Bab al
close
Mandab
them,
waterway.
and here's all gonna be fucked up.
That's Houthi land, right there where the pointer's going up and down. That's the Bab al Mandab waterway. And here's Yanbu up here, right? Yanbu, where the oil pipeline is taking all the oil and they're bypassing the war.
A little bit
What if they
halfway in, a little bit halfway, not that high, a little bit
Oh, it's
lower.
not. Is
but
it?
yes.
Wait, Yanbu's before Medina? I thought it was after Medina.
It's a little bit after Medina, but not that high.
Okay, I've been there, so I thought Medina was up there. Anyway, wallahi, this is not a funny story, people. It's not a funny story because now that they bypassed, there's Medina, here's Yanbu. There, right? No,
Yeah.
there it is. There's Yanbu.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm afraid to tell you guys something for fact. If Iran gets the Yemenis to come in both feet, they will task those motherfuckers to go to Mecca. They will tell them, here's our chance. The Shia can take Mecca. I'm going to tell you the last time the Shia took Mecca. When the cult, the Karamata, took Mecca in like 750, goddamn, and came across Saudi Arabia, took Mecca, burned the city to the ground, took the meteorite out of the Kaaba, broke it in half, and held it for 300 years. They had to be eliminated by the Abbasid Empire. People can't, you know why? Because when you fight in Saudi Arabia, you fight between cities. Your army can get halfway, the other army gets halfway. You fight, and if you win, you get the next city. And then you got to keep going. Saudi Arabia is like 3 battles from Yemen to Mecca. And then you take Jeddah, which is a major port. Holy shit, this is feasible. It's feasible that the Iranians have been preparing the Houthis to tear ass up the entire western border of Saudi Arabia and freaking destabilize. Those Houthis ain't going to joke, right? Because the Saudis have a big army. You could go up there and bypass and do all sorts of stuff. And if you drove hard, right, with a bunch of fighting, with the disgrace of taking Mecca, Saudi Arabia would bring every force to Mecca, and you could actually get up to southern Jordan. Aqaba.
And that also explains why all these sources from the Trump administration that are leaking that Saudi Arabia wants Trump to push on in Iran and to go ahead with a ground incursion, etc. This is just wishful thinking and manipulating, people, because the Saudis know this threat is real. They also know that once the Americans start trying to seize islands or whatever they want to try, that Iran will strike hard against all the energy infrastructure once again, and also desalination plants and stuff like that. So it's not just they are not just going to escalate with the Houthis. It's going to be across the board, and it will have really, really massive and global impact.
Okay. All right, let's move on to spectacular penetrations. I have here a video.
The daily segment.
I want you to play. This video is Tel Aviv last night. What you're going to see is the result of one of the cluster bombs that comes from a ballistic missile hit right over here at this car area with a pointer. Remember I said there are 80 basketball-sized explosives that break open and spread cluster munitions out there. This is what happens when one of them hits.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll show it. It'll show again. But that's one, right? As you can see, it destroyed all the cars and flipped one up in the air. That's one cluster bomb when they hit. There are 80 of them spreading around the area when they hit, and they generally aren't intercepted. Okay, next, a U.S. Navy F-18. This is the last thing before we get to diplomacy. A U.S. Navy F-14, for some ridiculous reason, was flying low over Chabahar on the Pakistani-Iran border, and it almost ate it. This is a surface-to-air missile, what we call a man-pad. Just about giving this guy a very bad day. It just barely evaded this missile. I'll show it a couple of times. There he is shooting.
Oh my
That's his
goodness.
gun. Oh, I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to do it again. Here's a slow motion.
Oh,
That explosion off his tail was the surface-to-air missile. I'm going to move back so that you can see that better.
wow.
At that point, it's like, oh, I guess it's time to go home. Here it is.
Yep.
Near miss probably caused some fragmentation damage. The question is, why is he flying so low? Right? He shouldn't be flying that low. Okay, next. The combat, by the way,
Did you
continues.
cover the F-35 that was damaged by an Iranian?
Yeah, that was a few days ago.
7 days ago. 7 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, that was a few days ago. We're not worried about that. That F-35 messed up. And we saw the video of the Iranians shooting it. Next. Okay, so this is what next we're finished the Iranian attacks. Karg Island was reinforced by the Iranians over the last 2 weeks. They said that they've sent maybe as many as 500 men, and that they brought in mines, anti-tank mines, sea mines, surface-to-air missiles like that. And there's a video of a guy in a bunker dug out in the sand, which, by the way, is very effective, right? Protecting you in the sand with 2 suicide bomb drones like the Ukrainians have. And this guy has his AK-47 and his drones, and his job is to launch that drone out of there, look for you, and then crash into you. And since he only has a kilometer or 2 to fly, right? You could shoot it down and they could still blow you up. So, okay, that's it. Donald Trump, 3 hours ago, posted this on Twitter.
Is that the NATO?
Yes. You know it. You know it's going to be the crazy talk, right? Let me expand this so everybody can read it. NATO nations have done absolutely nothing to help with the lunatic nation, now militarily decimated, of Iran. The USA needs nothing from NATO, but never forget this important point in time. President Donald J. Trump. Jacob, I'm going to leave this for you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a couple of times a week. He comes up with all this NATO threatening stuff. He should have thought about that before starting this war. And yeah, there's not that much to say. It's just insane, really. The same old blah, 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 crazy talk.
Does he think he's talking to Rutte with this? Isn't Rutte Danish, by the way?
No, he's Dutch. Rutte is Dutch.
He's Dutch. Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't think he is, because Rutte is always licking his ass. So I don't think he's he's mad with Rutte. He's mad with everyone else because everyone is basically saying thumbs down to all these crazy requests. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to complete and total madness, because he also made this statement yesterday.
Yeah.
Where apparently everyone loves him in Iran, and he's going to be the Ayatollah. He's going to be the Ayatollah, guys. I have no idea why that's so quiet. But apparently, none of us have figured out that Donald Trump is the most powerful man in the world, and all you got to do is ask him. Let's listen.
Middle East. And they are negotiating, by the way, and they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us.
Wait! They're afraid they'll be killed by their own people. And now you're saying, yeah, we'll kill you too.
Yeah.
Is this some sort of 40D chess thing that's being played here? That's mad. Oh, come on. Come on, y'all.
And then
here, I'll play it again.
The next sentence is that they don't want their jobs because they'll get killed.
Yeah, by Trump or them. Shit. Okay, let's play the rest of it.
Be killed by their own people. We're also afraid they'll be killed by us. There's never been a head of a country that wanted that job less than being the head of Iran.
Oh, and they're laughing.
I don't want it. We listen to some of the things they say. We hear them very clearly. They say, I don't want it. We'd like to make you the next supreme leader. No, thank you. I don't want it. But I want to express my gratitude to the tremendous seeing anything like we're doing in the Middle East with Iran. And they are negotiating, by the way, and they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us. There's never been a head of a country.
They literally said that the U.S. is negotiating.
I don't want it. We listen to some of the things they say. We hear them very clearly. They say, I don't want it. We'd like to make you the next supreme leader. No, thank you. I don't want it.
We're going to make him the next supreme leader, y'all.
Yeah.
God. I like the analysis. He has totally lost it.
He has totally lost it.
He has totally lost it. Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, more of that crazy talk, and he just doesn't understand who he's up against, and that's why he's doing all this crazy stuff.
Again, we're talking to a group of people that want to be martyred, especially a lot of the hierarchy of the IRGC. We're talking about a group of people that see honor. We talk about a group of people that see honor in fighting back the Americans, especially that they did not start this war. They view this religiously from a jihad standpoint, that when an enemy hits you in your homeland, it's an obligation for everyone in that country to join the fight in protecting that nation. That is an ideology, that is a faith, that is something that people believe, and that is not something that people just grew up reading in a book. That is a whole lifestyle that they have. Even if there's a good portion of Iran that is not Muslim, or there's a good portion of Iran that doesn't have that strong faith in Shiism, all you need is 10 million. All you need is 5 million. You don't have the capability to fight 5 million soldiers. You don't have the capability to fight 10 million soldiers.
Right. Oh, well, just FYI, somebody made a funny comment. They said, Malcolm, don't use the N word. I was like, what? And then he goes, nuke. He's right. Let's not be talking about that. That is as far as I'm concerned, that N word scares me to no end. All right. Well, no one does. We're done with the main briefing. So I want to add some levity. That is actually one of the best analyses out there about this war, this potential war. And of course, it comes from The Daily Show because I can't do it as good as those guys do it. I'll move the camera back so you can see all of it. But The Daily Show's analysis of what could happen here is better than anything I've seen on mainstream media. Really, it's accurate.
President Trump in the Oval Office yesterday said, I trust that he's already won the war. Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won.
You don't like to say you won a war? Isn't that why you fight a war? Be yourself, Mr. President. You entered another war, and this is the one that you started. Like, that's like double points, But you heard the man. We won this war. I bet Iran's begging for a ceasefire right now.
Breaking news, Iran's state-backed media now says Tehran will not accept a ceasefire.
Iranian officials quoted that Iran will end the war when it decides to do so, when its own conditions are met. Whoa. You can't end the war. We ended the war, all right? You trying to start another war? Because I'll fight you, and then I'll stop fighting you when I feel like it, because the war is over. You heard the president. We won. Bring the troops home.
More than 1,000 additional troops from the 82nd Airborne Division are heading to the Middle East. They'll be joining thousands more Marines, sailors, and other American troops already on their way.
Oh, shit. We're sending more troops? That doesn't sound like the war is over. This is very confusing. Should I or should I go to Times Square in my sailor outfit to kiss random women? Mr. President, I thought we won.
And we've won. Let me say, we've won.
Of course we won. Those troops are obviously going there to help set up for the victory party, You ever try to set up a bounty castle with just 1,000 troops? Now that's an impossible mission, like Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire.
All right. That's The Daily Show giving us a hot injection of reality into how this thing's being played out. And that, if I used the phrase a little earlier, strategic incoherence. Okay, if any of you think that this is not what my assessment, bottom line, this is the last I'll say before we go to questions. We are watching mental illness play out as foreign policy. This is mental illness. There's nothing
play
rational
out
about
as
this.
war, even
As war. This is, it's insanity. Okay, Jacob, any comments before we go to questions?
Yeah, it is as bleak as that, as you're saying, Malcolm. And it's every day for 27 days we've been sitting here shaking our heads, but it won't stop, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, Wajeeh.
We could sit here and do what ifs and what could have been, and it's very, very upsetting to see someone that we have kept warning the globe about, Trump, that only has his own personal interests on the table, that only listens to people paying him money. And now that he's in this war, he wants to make the most out of it in his own finances. And all I could see is a clusterfuck of decisions just to justify whatever actions he's just making. That's all. That's my take on the situation.
Yeah. Okay, Jacob. Last.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this could turn out really bad in a matter of 24 to 48 hours. So,
It could be.
Yeah, let's see.
Crazy. Let's go to questions. Don has one for Wajeeh. Wajeeh, after the dust settles, how do you think Qatar will act? Who of the influence target clients are the most angry with us?
Certainly Qatar is the most angry. Qatar and Oman, these two are the most angry. Especially they were very, very serious and genuine about their work with peace between and diplomacy between the United States and extremist organizations in the region. We saw Qatar make the peace treaty between the Taliban and the United States. We saw them take actions with the Houthis. We saw them to take actions with Iran, and every time they have went above and beyond trying to fix these relationships, even though they have their own shady connections, which is understandable, but the whole base of that relationship has shattered. They no longer want anything to do with peace negotiation. All I hear is that their main focus right now is on protecting their soil, protecting their homeland. They literally have hundreds of drones flying towards them. Yesterday, another part of their uh, plans for the liquid gas nitrogen was hit. That has to do with cooling. So they are literally sitting in a situation where there are missiles coming down, and they had nothing to do with the whole situation. So they feel very betrayed. They feel very upset. And the United States haven't done much to defend these Qataris, at least from the bombs and the missiles that are falling on their land. They haven't seen any actions from the United States. So just to add on the wound, the United States was like, yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. Jacob, Cindy says, what do you guys think is the big gift that Trump is bragging about?
It's hard to say. It could be, these this oil that the Iranians let the Emiratis ship to the global market and present that as a big thing. But really, I don't know. I don't think the Iranians have moved much. But that was at least something new that we saw. That was it one or two Emirati tankers that were allowed to pass through the Easy Pass toll gate.
Easy pass. Multi-pass works, bro. Okay, I think it's Card Island. I think he's going to announce after we rate it that he was assured by the negotiators who love him, who were Iranians that he wants to work with. There's a reporting that the president and and the foreign minister are not on the hit list, that they have been removed from the American-Israeli assassination.
For 5 days.
For 5
For
days?
5 days.
Oh, wallahi. Yeah, that's okay. So I think he's going to say, they gave us Karg Island. It's a beautiful present. We're raising the American flag. We're going to rename it Trump Island. Now, that sounds silly, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore. Next question. Are bombing, MJOT says, are bombing primarily of facilities pretty much already replaced with newer updated buildings? So bombing things make little difference to destroy? Is this a pre-planned war to gain money for the parties involved? I think that no one's rebuilding facilities. They're just bombing.
The facility that
money
was
will
hit,
be made on the back end.
are they talking about what happened at Qatar yesterday? Because what the facility
Chiller.
that was hit, and it will take
I
them
didn't
2
hear
years
about
for
that.
each chiller.
Right. Yeah, because I know that they bombed 2 parts of that facility. I didn't hear that there was a 3rd strike yesterday. And the chillers are the things that it's like sub-zero. It takes natural gas and they freeze it to the point it becomes a liquid. And then that is pumped into the tankers. And that's those big domes that you see are the storage containers for that. That's big ass money there. $1 billion each, 3 to 5 years to replace. Let me see. No. Wajeeh, I have a Libyan and Saudi friend who also absolutely refuse to believe what you're posting about the Gulf states wanting the U.S. to continue the war about Iran. You're just posting what they're saying.
I also heard another Saudi journalist go on CNN yesterday and completely deny any uh, claims that MBS have asked Trump to continue this war. But here's what's funny: in the same time that they were saying this, the UAE ambassador to the United States came out and said, "Yeah, we're part of this war. The Saudi Arabia is part of this war. We're supporting the United States, and we're ready to do more." So UAE just admitted it. You're welcome. I understand how Saudis are very willing to go out and say, "Hey, we have nothing to do this," because they're trying to slow down the Iranian attacks on their facilities. They're trying to avoid having their water desalination plants hit.
Right.
So,
Well,
so like they have other things to worry about, and they are going to have Tokyo, where you have out, you come out and you say something that you don't mean in public in order for you to protect yourself.
religiously authorized lying
Yes.
or deception. Yeah. Okay, good. Hey, a couple of questions somebody asked yesterday. We didn't answer them. Lara Ballard. Would the paratroopers be carrying folding bicycles? What's the plan once they land? Which was, by the way, an actual thing from World War II, where they did carry folding bicycles. They have motorcycles. They have, quad bikes, quad vehicles that will move them, and they'll do most of it on foot. They could bring some vehicles, but that would replace all the ammunition they're going to need. Okay. We went long again. That's it for today. For God's sake, stay tuned tomorrow. And we're going to have a special about the potential after the deadline clock runs down. Just keep subscribed and you'll see the alert when that comes out. Jacob.
Yeah, I'll be logging on from the car down in Germany. So I'll have my wife drive around this hour so I can log on.
Where are you going in Germany?
We're going skiing in France.
Skiing in France?
Nice.
Where? Are you
Yeah.
Are you going to
Mont Blanc.
not Mont Blanc, the town
close
there.
to Mont Blanc. It's right on the border between France and Italy. It's called La Rochère.
Oh, which one?
La Rochère.
Oh,
And on the Italian side, it's called La Tuile. It's a nice a nice off-piste resort. Yeah, where I used to work many years ago.
Nice. You know, I've always wanted to do the old route up there, just going from shed to shed.
Route, yeah.
I can barely stay up on my randonnée skis this year. I'm so old. Okay, well, thanks guys for coming. A little admin. If you have not pressed that little button at top that says Black Man Spy so that the pop-up boxes can come up to follow Wajeeh, all right, press that button. Follow those guys. If you are watching this on YouTube, please come to Substack at malcolmnance.substack.com and subscribe. It's free. And you can also subscribe to Wajeeh and Jacob while you're there. We are trying to get up to 100,000 followers. Watch it in real time. Anyone on YouTube is watching this after we've taken it and edited it. So we really want you to do that and follow on YouTube. You will get our intelligence briefing tomorrow morning. You can be part of the Ops Center, right? To get the briefing, you can have laughs with us. We are watching all of your comments, by the way. And some of them we can't put up. There were some good jokes in here this morning that I can't. Something about Operation Butt Plug. So from Propaganda Fella. So yeah, we laugh at this, but it is of dark humor, and we all need that. Do not watch the news for the next 24 hours. You will just drive yourself crazy. Watch us, and we will bring the crazy to you. Guys, Wajeeh, thank you. Jacob, thank you. See you in the car there, Jacob.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you on the flip. Have a safe trip, Jacob.
Thanks a lot, man.